What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Clearly Distorted podcast, where we discuss our clearly thought out ideas shared through our distorted lenses. We cover the week's trending topics, ranging from social issues, sports, politics, news, and much more. I am Damien, aka the Devil's Advocate. He is Julian, aka the Morning and Evening Star, aka Mr. Enigmatic. There we go. It's a lot to remember.
I need better flow when you're introducing.
It's a lot to remember. It's a lot to remember.
You need to practice that in front of a mirror too, with my picture next to it, just so you can do it right.
And she is Patricia, aka she ain't all there, but she's here.
AKA Circle of Friends.
AKA clearly distorted point of view coming from you.
You need to get that into focus, Damien.
This week,
y'all don't know what we're talking about, but it's
this week. It's episode 31, and we'll be talking about body counts. Is hip hop responsible for Ja Morant's behavior? Fascism in Florida, the bus stop gun guy, and traveling while Puerto Rican. But before we get to all of that, how are you guys doing?
I'm good.
Well, David, why are you laughing so much today?
Because
I want to know. First of all, you're red. Why are your cheeks red? Are you flushing?
No, I work outside, and there's a lot of sun out there.
Yeah, but this color fluctuation has been in the last 15 minutes.
Got a little rosy.
I'm doing good, kids. Almost end of the school year, a lot going on. And just, setting friends straight.
Well, I'm doing pretty
friends straight. Got it.
I'm doing pretty good. As a big fighting game fanatic, part of the FGC community, Street Fighter 6 is coming out in June. The beta is out this weekend. Been playing it, and Mortal Kombat 12 or Mortal Kombat 1. That's what they're calling it. Just got released. Just got revealed. Sorry. So that comes out in September. So it's a big deal for video game, especially in the fighting game community. So I'm hyped up about that, and that's it really for me.
Oh,
and I have not been setting friends straight today or this week, but I feel like I've done that a lot. So I feel you, Patricia.
My kids have, they're not gamers. We have a PlayStation, but they don't play anything. But they're obsessed with the Mario Bros movie. So that's like a new world to them right now. So I'm thinking of maybe for Christmas I will get them like the Mario Karts and
get them a Nintendo
and the
Switch.
Yoshi. We had a Nintendo Switch, but they just never. I don't know. I feel like
but get them the Mario Galaxy games and get them the Mario games. It's just like the movie, like the way they look and everything. So they'll love that.
Esma's 6th birthday is coming in July, and if you guys know my daughter a little bit, I'm talking about you too. She wants Mario Brothers to be the theme of her birthday, but she wants a specific character.
You can't You can't find him, can you?
Can anybody guess what character she wants to be?
Yeah, she wants the bad
Peach?
guy.
No, that would be nice.
Was it Bowser?
Bowser?
Yes.
She wants to be Bowser? Yeah, Bowser.
She wants everything Bowser.
Oh.
She wants everything Bowser.
Such a cute little girl.
Leaf is like, Princess Peach. And she's like, Princess Peach is not cool. Bowser's cool. I was like, of course you would think that.
Get her Switch and get her Mario Odyssey. Get her that game. She'll love it.
But don't you think that can you connect the Switch to the TV so they can see it big? Okay.
All right. Yeah, you can. So Pretty cool.
We'll get
Pretty cool.
that for our birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll
she'll
all
love it.
fight for it.
Yep.
Yeah, that they will. But
Yeah.
it's fun. Anyway, yeah. So what about you, Dame?
Yeah, Damien.
Same old
Can you
same.
enlighten us some more?
Business is booming. I got some family I got a cousin visiting from Germany who I was hanging out with last night.
Oh, you were saying that last week.
Yeah, so they're here. And
how was it? This is the first time meeting them, right?
No.
Oh no.
No. Third time.
But this is the cousin that you met from
Right.
23andMe or whatever.
Yes.
Like, yeah, that's so cool though.
Yep.
That's really cool. I always knew you were like more German than American.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
He just happened to be born in Germany.
Keep throwing that shade, Patricia. Keep doing it. Listen, you were talking about setting friends straight, but I got a little story I want to share with you guys. This is going to lead into our body count segment. So years ago, I lost a friend. I used to work with this person, and so I think she liked me. I'm pretty sure she did, and she kind of lured me to her house for some like business thing, like some presentation. At first, I didn't think it was going to be at her house, but then it ended up.
I bet
she didn't present shit, but anyway. It didn't go, like nothing happened, you know. Her mom was there or whatever, and it was like a business presentation. It was like some pyramid scheme thing. So anyway, you know, we did all of that or whatever, but you know, I was pretty good friends with her, and as the friendship kept growing, she tells me that she starts seeing some guy, and that he was from, I want to say he was from Dubai, and he had a lot of money. That's what she said. And she was telling me, like, he's kind of, you know, telling her how much he loves her and that he wants to buy her all of the stuff and take care of her. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. You know, go for it. Right. And she was like, yeah, but there's one thing, and I need your advice. And I'm like, what? And she says, he claims to have slept with over 5,000 women.
Oh.
So I said, you mean how old is he? And she's like, oh, you know, he's like 32.
That's crazy.
So I was like, I don't think I've met that many humans in my life, let alone slept with them. I don't even know how someone would have time for that.
That's all, yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I believe him. And, you know, he's kind of had a lot of girlfriends. He's not really good looking, but, you know, he's got money. So I said, so, you know, so what do you think? And she goes, well, you know, how far should I go with him? And I'm like, it's not really my business or whatever. But she kept kind of pushing it. So finally I said, honestly, you're just going to be another number to that 5,000. If he's had 5,000 girls or even
just
anywhere close to that,
5,001.
All you are is just part of that number. Like, you really think you're going to be the special person? And she got offended. And she says, so what are you saying? Like, I'm not a special person? And I'm like,
not if you've slept with 5,000, like the person.
Right. I said, like, quite honestly, like, no, like, there's nothing extraordinary about her. Like, you know, she wasn't like some amazing person. She worked at a fucking call center. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not to shit on her or anything, but I'm just viewing it from his perspective, right? Anyway, that ended our friendship. Like, she got pissed off and we didn't talk anymore. And I'm totally fine with that. But
I can relate.
You can relate. Oh, okay. Well, Dame, you're in it today. So, guys, just so you guys know, prepping for the show, I was gonna talk about this story, and this story, I got reminded of the story from some article that I read. So I want to share the article with you. But we got into this conversation, and apparently, you know, Dame sometimes he just says things and it doesn't come out right. So anyway, and Patricia's responding to that. I'll leave it to her and him to talk about it. But let's get to the story. So that leads me to think about body counts. So I want to ask you guys before I get into the story. Now, I know nobody likes to reveal their body count. So I'm just going to ask you, is your body count north or south of 20? Daym?
North.
Wow. Patricia?
Wait, no, explain what north means. Is it like higher or lower? Like
Higher. North
higher than
would
20?
be higher. South
Like
would be
you've
lower.
slept with more than 20 people? Is that what that means? Like you
That's
slept
what
more
that's
than...
what that means.
Oh, no,
Patricia.
definitely no.
So you're
Very
south
south.
of 20. Okay.
Like
I am also south of 20. So
I'm not surprised by both answers.
what am I like? Disgusting or
Wow.
something?
No, I'm not surprised that you're south, and I'm not surprised that other people are north.
Well, Daym.
Yeah.
That sounds like a little judgy to me, what she just said. Care to respond?
No. I'm gonna let it go.
All right. Well, the reason why I'm thinking about all of this stuff, by the way, if you guys care to share, are you north or south of 20 in your body count? Please leave a comment. But there's this person, his name is Moulay Ismail. He was the emperor of Morocco back in the 1700s. So apparently, according to this article, he fathered 888 children within the span from 1697 to 1727. Now, according to the researchers, they published a paper in a journal plus
30
one.
years.
In 30 years, that means on average, every day he would have to have slept with 1.43 women to 1.63 times in a day's time to achieve that number of children. He would have had to, I guess, sleep with them or impregnate them or whatever it is.
So for
a certain amount. So
every day for 30 years, he was sleeping with 1 to 2 people.
1 to 2 people a day for 30 years.
So that should tell you right there that that's impossible.
It's not impossible.
So if you're an emperor,
it's
if you're an emperor and your day to day
want to do that
is just to have different women in there, right? Maybe that was his nightly routine or morning routine or whatever. You know, they weren't about pulling out, and there was probably no condoms or no kind of protection, and there you have it. It kind of makes sense to me.
What you said this was in the 1600s?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't see someone having sex with having sex at least once a day for 30 years. There's just no way.
That's pretty ambitious. That's a lot.
No.
It's
I mean, this
possible.
person was never sick. He didn't go to war. He didn't have meetings. Like, I don't know.
He didn't have meetings in 1600. Maybe he had meetings while he was having sex. Maybe it was just that kind of vibe. Yeah.
It was very.
I don't
he was
know.
the emperor, so I mean, you know, people just look the other way.
I don't know. People just be believing stuff that they read. Like, I don't believe it. I mean, people still to this day in 2023 think Jesus is white. So,
well, it reminds me of this scene in what's the show we're watching? The Queen. What's the name of the show?
Back in my good grace.
What's the name of the show?
Queen Charlotte.
Okay, so there's a scene where the king, comes to visit the queen, and they go at it at the dinner table, full of all of the room's full of their employees.
It's also a show,
right? But it's based on
but they did have 13 kids.
This is my point. They had 15.
Let me ask you something, Patricia. So you find this unbelievable. So okay, so Will Chamberlain. Do you know who Will Chamberlain is?
No.
It's kind of hard to describe who he was. He was a basketball player.
Okay.
The only player to ever score 100 points. He's the most freakish athlete I think probably I've ever seen. He won high jump contest, massively huge. He would be able to pick up grown men like they were kids. Like just he was a Shaquille O'Neal of his day, in the 60s and 50s. But in many ways, he was a bigger and stronger man than Shaquille O'Neal, if that's even, if you could even comprehend that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Will Chamberlain has claimed to have slept with over 20,000 women in his lifetime. Again, that's one of those numbers where people are just, like when you calculate it and you do the math, he's doing
with over how many women?
20,000.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
So do you believe that number, Daym?
No. Oh.
I mean, it's so ridiculous that I don't think but why would somebody make up such a ridiculous number?
And
because
Patricia, you certainly don't believe in it.
I mean, so clearly I've never seen this guy. I don't know who he is, whatever. But if he's like huge and big and muscular, or like his career has always been like bigger than life.
Everything he did was overindulgence, right? Everything.
Maybe things are smaller and he made his sexual life bigger than life because he had to keep up.
I don't know if you sleep with that many women, if that's the reason, but
because you don't. That's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking that maybe he wanted everything in his life has been bigger than life. He wanted that. And 20,000 women, that's, first of all, that's disgusting. And second of all,
according to him, this wasn't like, a lot of these weren't one-on-one encounters. So
of course,
he'd have three to four women at a time.
Listen,
Patricia, you look totally disgusted.
Listen, these are the kind of facts that you guys need to tell me off camera so I can
keep in mind this is like what, in the 70s, 60s,
right,
70s
and 70s, right?
So that kind of is in line for that.
We need to do them like.
Remember in the hippie time, that was, everybody was, partaking in these kind of
free love.
Yeah, like, I don't think he performed well enough for 20,000 women.
Who said he had to?
Well, if
he's Will Chamberlain, he doesn't have to.
No, but if he's sleeping with 20,000 women, he had to do some kind of performance. Unless you're counting whoever's in the room. And then that could have been one night. Do it, with an arena filled of people.
Well, it kind of makes Nick Cannon having 12 kids from 6 different women kind of pale in comparison. Because I'd imagine Will Chamberlain has a bunch of kids floating around there. If his number is even close to reality. Like, not quite 888 children, but
why not? I mean, that would be low odds out of 20,000.
But yeah, so
Nick Cannon is disgusting, but more disgusting are the women that are with Nick Cannon. I'm tired of the math. I just want to talk about disgusting how Nick Cannon is, but the women are worse.
So I guess that
Nick
leads
Cannon
to the
is
question,
disgusting
right?
for having 12 children.
No, he's disgusting for having multiple sexual partners with like overlapping each other.
So here's my question then to you, Patricia. So we're talking about body counts.
Mm-hmm.
So what number do you think is to the point where not only is it disgusting, but it says something inherently off about that person? Is there a number that, like a certain amount?
This might be an unpopular opinion, right? But I just think there's no like 1, 2, 3. If you're with someone and you're also with 2 or 3 other women, or just one other person, and you guys are having unprotected sex, that's just disgusting. I don't care how normal it is, or how many people do it, or whose cousin, sister, brother did it. It's still disgusting.
Yeah, but that's not what he asked you.
No, there should not be, this question should not be asked. It should be just one person. That's it.
For your body count?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking like
That's why he said you didn't answer the question. She's answering her own questions, I guess. Yeah,
I'm answering.
I'm
asking and answering my own question.
I'll ask again. So, at what number body count do you feel like it gets to the point where, okay, there's something off with that person? Why do they need so many partners in their life?
Yeah, north of
So,
20.
North of 20. Okay.
I knew she was gonna say that.
Well, Daym, you're disgusting and you're immoral.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
apparently.
No, you know, like as an adult, like you know, you can have all the partners that you want to have. I don't care. Like, you know, some people like it, some people don't. My problem is when you're starting to have unprotected sex.
Yeah.
And then you're bringing kids to the situation that they didn't even ask to be a part of, you know?
Well, that's what when we talk about morals, that's where I think it hits,
Yeah.
especially there, right? You know, if you're having unprotected sex and you have multiple partners, that's where you could be potentially spreading diseases or having
Yeah.
unwanted pregnancies and things like that. But I do think, Dame, don't take this to an offense or anything, but I do think once you hit a certain amount of partners, it says something about your impulse and your control. And we were talking about this earlier and you guys were questioning me, but as a man, I wish that growing up there was a way where I could have curbed my sexual appetite.
But
You know,
why?
like I was very controlled. Like sex has never motivated me to, you know, go a certain direction in my life. It's never dictated what I do. But I've met so many men where everything, the way they dress, what car they get, what jobs they get, what clubs they go to, all dictate how much pussy they can get. And that's never been my thing. So to answer your question, why? It's because I don't like the idea of something controlling me. That's why I don't really do drugs. That's why I don't drink. That's why I don't chase women. So for me, that's what it is. But I'm not shitting on anyone else's lifestyle. But I do think, you know, some people are just way more impulsive than others, and you gotta control that shit. Dame, any response to anything that Patricia and I are saying?
I
These
mean,
two prude adults here. You see our clean little halos, you know?
no, I mean, you know, I guess we all grow up different. I don't know what else to say. Yeah,
He's
I
like,
mean,
he was gonna talk and he's like, oh, my mom and my dad are watching.
I was the exact opposite. I mean, even from
You've learned.
my teenage, no, of course, but you know, early on, me and a lot of my friends, we planned what we were going to do this weekend. The plan was revolved around achieving this goal, and that was it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See, now when I was real young, my first few experiences, I was a little bit like out of control. And then it got to the point where as I got older, it was just like, yo, Jew, what the fuck are you doing? Like, slow down, like stop.
It's probably
and I realized really early. I guess you know what it was? I ended up with a girlfriend that the relationship was crazy. And that kind of scared me. It kind of scared me. It scared me straight, probably. You know, even when I broke up with her, it was because it was just too much drama. We were skipping school, we were doing all kinds of craziness. Having sex, I talked about it on the rooftop of my building. Like now here's the one thing though. I haven't had that many partners, but it's usually typically because my relationships last longer. You know, so you know, I was in a 9-year relationship. Now I'm in a 17-year relationship. So
shit, that's half your life right there.
Yeah. So
God damn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess that'll take care of that. Body counts.
All right. Body counts. Interesting conversation.
Yes, interesting conversation. Yeah. I just want to a PSA real quick PSA. Here we go. If you have a friend and her body count is high, doesn't necessarily mean that their surrounding friends are the same. That's it.
You know that I don't let me just add a question to that. Good PSA. Daym, you should listen. Anyway,
What?
but I will say, here's my question.
Wait, he's taking notes.
Here's my question. If you both were single, or when you were single,
Mhm.
and you start talking to someone, does their body count factor into whether you hook up with them or not? For me, that's a yes. But
So
what about you guys?
I think that, of course, we all know that if a girl's body count is like, I don't know, more than 10, she's automatically a hoe. If the body count of a man is over 20, he must be good in bed, you know? So for me personally, I don't know, like,
I don't know if that equates right. If the man's had 20 or more partners, the idea that he's good in bed doesn't make sense, because if he was good in bed, he'd have that one woman who would keep coming back for more.
but I don't think that's a stereotype though.
The one.
Listen, I have
Shut up.
yeah.
No.
I'm like,
No. If a man has 20 different women or multiple women, that's not indicative of how good he is. That's either indicative of how much money he has, how good looking he is, or what kind of game he has. But you don't
yes.
know what's going to happen in that moment.
Your question was, do you like, I've never asked someone that I'm dating what was their body. No, I don't
Never?
care. No.
See, I kind of want to know, but
you know
I don't
why
want to know details.
You know why I've never asked? Because I don't think they would be straight with me. I would think that if they tell me,
that's a fact.
yeah, right. So why am I going to ask if I'm not going to get a real number? I mean, whoever,
Especially women.
All I care is, do you have any STDs? Let me see some blood work going. Let me look. You have any kind of sores in your mouth going on in there?
So Patricia, so how about if you have a circle of friends?
Yeah, I love this question.
Who the reputation of said person is astronomically high. Does that factor in?
If she stays my friend?
No.
Huh.
A male that you might be interested in. If he's part of your circle of friends and he has a reputation, if your friends say, yo, that dude's been with like 50 women.
I probably listen.
Daym, what about you? Women damage goods after a certain amount?
He's thinking yes.
Well, at that point in my life, I would have said yes.
But now you wouldn't?
No.
No,
because the truth is everybody lies. No one tells the truth, so you never really know. So what your perceived idea is based off of fallacy anyway. So
I picked that 20 mark for a reason. I think if you've had over 20, shit, if you're a female, if I was like a teenager, you had over 10, I'm not fucking with you.
I mean, a teenager should not have like a lot.
But yeah, I've met a lot. Like, you know, like I knew a girl who probably slept with like 15, 20 guys. Like, and we were what, like 14, 15 years old? I wouldn't have fucked her with Dame's dick.
If you knew about 15 or 20, it was probably like 45.
No.
Right. That's my thinking.
Are you serious?
Facts.
You
know, there's some people watching this and be like, y'all slut shaming. And no.
Not at all. I mean, at one point in my life, most definitely.
Listen, I think everybody slut shames at one point or another.
There you go. Of course we do. Everyone does.
It's part of life.
Then we grow up.
No,
and then
I still slut shame. Fuck all that shit.
Clearly.
I don't know what the fuck Dame's talking about.
Clearly, because you're like 20. I just thought you were just throwing a number.
Dame's like,
I never said a number.
We're all adults here.
No. I said to Julian, because he said 20. I thought it was just a random number. Like he just thought about it. I didn't think he had like a
there's nothing random about Julian.
That was my judgy attitude, you know, bringing up a hypothetical. And anyway, body counts, that was interesting, but we got news to cover, guys.
Some real shit. Man, Ja Morant remains in the news, and every day something else is coming up. And it just leads you to think, because of all the conversations, is hip hop responsible for Ja Morant's behavior?
No.
I love this conversation because, first of all, it seems like with Ja Morant, there's been multiple excuses thrown out for him.
Yeah.
Whether it's his friends, whether whatever, right? But I'm going to say that hip hop has an influence. So do films, so do video games, so does your neighbor, your brother, your father, everything. There's an influence in everything. So to a certain degree, I'm not totally ignorant to the idea that it's influencing him, right? Because you could just look in both instances, he's listening to music and he's holding a gun and dancing. So to some point, there's an influence there, but did it influence his decision? I think not.
I feel like you contradicted yourself.
It is a bit of a contradiction. I think you make a conscious decision to whether you own a gun, whether you brandish the gun.
Right.
And I don't think that really totally relates to hip hop music or film or whatever, but I do think that helps solidify that feeling or that need or that, desire to show it off a certain way. It's like someone who's maybe addicted to sex. They might love to watch porn, which comes first, right? The chicken or the egg, right? Who knows? But all I'm saying is he may gravitate to hip hop because, of his infatuation with having a gun or showing it off. But I don't think hip hop was the cause of it.
I agree with that.
I agree with that too. However, I don't like when we start blaming movies or hip hop or this, because hip hop and violent movie and violent games and all that is all over the world. And we don't see what we see here all over the world. And we also never blame mass shooters or, all these things. And like, why are we not blaming mass shooters in country music? Country music is pretty violent. Why is hip hop supposed to be? Country music is violent. The country music that I hear is like smashing someone's car. It can get violent. So why is country music not deemed as a violent?
Because because country music is primarily white music, and this is primarily a white person problem in this country. I hate to say it, but it really is. And that's not even trying to be racial. It's just, what culturally, what's been going on in the country. And they're never going to allow anything to go after, the gun lobby and gun manufacturers. So they're going to blame everything else. They're going to blame everything else. Mental health, transgender people now, video games, films, whatever. As far as Ja Morant is concerned, I feel like hip hop music is going to there already is sort of a backlash to what, to the music he's, kind of listening to and dancing to with the gun in his hand. So I think there's going to be a backlash on that as well.
I think it has nothing to do with hip hop. I got a hot take.
Has nothing to do. What's your hot take?
Ja Morant is the new Tekashi 6ix9ine.
I don't know if that's hot or dumb, but
are you familiar with Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Yeah, Mr. Rainbow Guy and Mr. Snitch. Yeah, okay.
Mr. Snitch.
Before the snitching, do you know the story?
No, I don't.
He Mexican kid, grew up in a 2-parent household, poor, but had his family and support, and just decided to start making a type of music one day and portrayed himself to be a blood member. He snuck on a video set of another rapper and shot his video with them in the background to portray himself as part of them. what ended up happening is he became very successful, and those same gang members basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Extorted him, provided him protection, extorted him, became his management, and got all kinds of millions of dollars out of him. I think to some degree, not to that degree, but to some degree, I think the same thing is happening to Ja Morant. Possibly.
I don't understand what you're saying.
The correlation.
So in that last video, and this is all just speculation, the guy that's recording looks, I mean, you could see it. He looks at Ja, he looks back at the camera, and then flashes the camera towards Ja. So when he looks at Ja, he sees he has the gun in his hand. He has the opportunity to say, oh, fuck, I'm not going to put the camera on him because we know what just happened. He flashes it real quick and then puts it down like, oh, shit, to make it like, you know, oh, shit. I believe he could have said, give me $100,000 and I won't put this out. And Ja didn't pay.
It was live. But it was live.
So?
What do you mean so? You can't put something out that isn't, if it's live, it's coming out as they're doing it.
Yeah, but he didn't
that
have
was
to
a live
do it.
IG video. Well, right, Ja Morant, knowing that it's live, didn't have to hold a gun. So that can't be an extortion. That doesn't make sense.
But I think it's the whole circle that's going on around him this whole time. I believe the people that are traveling with him, the people that are hanging with him, are in this same kind of scenario.
Kind of like trying to do him in, like
we got you, but for a price.
That's a wild conspiracy, considering that the first video was him filming himself in a club. Like I get
it wasn't on his live, but it was on his live, but it wasn't him filming himself.
The first video,
he wasn't holding the camera. It was
in the first video,
right?
It sure did look like him.
No, in the first video,
I'm
it was
pretty
on
sure
his live though.
Anyway, I don't think that's even remotely close, but you know,
it's I'm telling you, he's already.
What's the benefit? What's the benefit?
Money.
No, I'm saying why.
But
why
he's
would
doing this himself, though. It's not like
because he wants to portray himself a certain way. Because you can't just aside from these videos that we've seen, there's pictures of him like standing on the hood of a car in a hood that he has no business being in with that car, or standing on the hood. Like,
so that kind of doesn't make sense what you're saying, because nobody's extortioning him because he wants to put that image himself out there.
But when you start to portray yourself in this way, and you're not that way, there's people that want to come show you that you're not that way.
Look,
so
this is bottom.
You're taunting people that are of this life, and he's already gotten threats.
This is the bottom line. Ja Morant is so wealthy, he could walk into his game, tell one of the players, tell one of the staff, tell somebody, and security would have him on lockdown, and he could eliminate himself from any of those people.
In a game?
I don't see.
You're talking about walking a game.
I'm saying, like, when he's not around his people, when he has to be alone with his teammates, whether it's on a fucking bus from one city to the other, or whether it's on a plane for a playoff game, or whatever it is, he doesn't have to be around them. And if he's in fear or whatever, what that's the suggestion, he could be protected. He's got so much money and so much power. He doesn't need to ever see any of these people. So he's doing this on his own, Damien. These are self-inflicted wounds. This isn't. What you're saying doesn't make any sense.
I'm not saying he is not involved. It's a mutual benefit.
How is that a benefit to him? He's losing millions
because he wants to be portrayed in a certain way. He wants to be seen this way.
How is that a benefit?
Because he wants to be seen this way. He's coming out
and apologizing for it.
He has to come out and apologize for it.
That makes no sense what you're saying, Dame. Nobody is going to go out there and do something on purpose. Like you say, like Kanye West, right? He does shit for publicity or whatever. We understand that, right? And he does things that ultimately hurt his career. We get it. Ja Morant, that's not what he's doing. He's not pulling a Donald Trump or a Kanye West. he doesn't have a mass amount of people who are supporting him for his
not
stupid beliefs. His
I'm not
support
speaking. I'm
system
not
are
speaking.
basketball fans.
I'm not speaking to these two videos. There's a lot more that's going on around him that is not in these two videos.
Is he even a really good basketball player? Like, why are they?
He's a great basketball player.
I mean, just drop him.
He's an exceptional basketball player.
Drop him. It's too much
It might
negativity.
happen, but
I think it's hard for the NBA. They're gonna hit him hard with when they announce the suspension for him. They're gonna hit him really hard. He might be gone for half a year, maybe even a year.
I mean, send him to jail.
He didn't break a law.
Just send him scared straight.
I think that's the whole plan, is to scare him straight by hurting his wallet, and that's gonna hurt him a lot. He's probably gonna lose his deal with Nike, might even lose his deal with Powerade. It's gonna be a real problem for him.
Nike already pulled his sneaker off their website.
They pulled his sneaker off.
I have a question. Because I'm not familiar with him. What's the problem, that he's brandishing a gun like on social media? Where he is that allowed?
It's not about the law. It's about the image, and the NBA not wanting to be attached to that image.
The NBA has been pretty vocal about gun violence, in particular against
I get it,
from police to black.
So then fire him,
black citizens. So the idea that this is the message that the league wants out there, and here Ja Morant is holding up a gun and acting like a little fuckboy, and they don't want that part of their brand. Not to mention, he's also done other things, like his team. They kind of been known, especially one of his other former teammates, Dylan Brooks, known for kind of antagonizing and being wannabe tough guys, and they threatened some other basketball team, Indiana Pacers, and then they were pointing laser pointers or a gun with a laser on the team, and that caused problems.
They're still in the team.
Yeah, he beat up some kid at the mall.
I mean, this is I get that you want to have good players and make money or whatever, but there's always another good player out there, I'm sure.
There's plenty of good players out there, yeah.
Then fire him. Let him be the real. Let him be a real.
Matter of fact, get rid of him.
Very matter of fact.
But listen, if you have all these opportunities, how hard is it to make it in the NBA? If you have all these opportunities and you're taking them for granted because you want to be a fuckboy and want to go on Instagram Live, then fire him so he can go and do that.
I think there's
agree. I
steps
just don't
to
know
go to before we get to that point. So.
Maybe
I'm inclined to.
Maybe I should send my mom over there. She's a no nonsense person.
I don't think he should lose his whole career over these two incidents or last few incidents, but I do think that there should be a severe punishment.
Right.
And I do think that he needs some help. I don't think that this is he's being extorted.
Some people
to
just
be an
never
asshole.
get it. Some people just never
if it gets to that point, then it gets to that point. At this point, no one's been hurt, nothing major has occurred. It just looks really bad. So if he doesn't learn his lessons from this and it continues, it could eventually get to the point where someone gets hurt. So
why we sound like the police officers when women call and they're they fear for their life and they're like, well, has he actually acted on the threat? No, not yet, but I don't know. I don't know.
He's lost so far like $30+ million. And if he gets suspended for half the season, he's going to lose several more $1 million.
I mean, clearly he's super immature. How old is he?
23. 24.
It's 23.
I guess give him until 25 because I guess the brain doesn't stop developing until it's 25.
Well, I don't know how much tolerance the league is going to have. We're going to know if they only suspend him for like 10 games or some shit.
No.
Then well, I'm just saying, if that's the case, then we know that he's got a lot more fucking up to do before his career is over. But if they hit him like 25 plus, that's a clear indication that they're not playing with him.
I'm in the 40 ballpark.
So am I.
I'm interested to know
40
now.
40 to full season, yeah.
But yeah, just bench him one season. Let him sit at home.
That's 82
with his
games
guns.
plus not even including the playoffs. So
and if that have endorsements are for sure out the door.
Yeah.
You know what's ironic is his sneaker deal was why am I so bad with names? He was traded from the Nets to Dallas.
The hell are you talking about, Daym?
He was traded from the Nets.
What is it? What
Dallas
are you
Mavericks.
talking about?
The person's name I'm trying to think of.
The basketball player.
Yes. I cannot believe I can't think of his name. And I can't believe you're looking at me like I'm talking German.
I don't know.
Who was traded from the Nets to the Dallas Mavericks this year?
From the Nets?
Yes.
It wasn't Ja Morant.
No, it wasn't. Who was it?
I don't know what you're asking me. Kyrie Irving?
Thank you. I could not think of his name.
What the fuck does this have to do with Kyrie Irving?
The irony. Kyrie Irving's sneaker deal was taken away, and his sneaker deal went to Ja Morant, who is now in the same fucking position.
Wow.
I don't know. I cannot believe I couldn't think of Kyrie Irving's name. I was complete blank.
That was rich.
Anyway, yeah. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah. I think he needs to grow the fuck up.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. We'll see.
But it just, by all accounts, he's an extremely intelligent person.
Not really.
See, I don't like that term. He's not intelligent. He's a fucking moron.
Well, intelligence speaks to your aptitude, your ability.
Right.
Not necessarily the usage of it.
Okay. See, that's where there has to be some usage applied before you can start just branding people intelligent. You can say a fucking dog is intelligent. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Dolphins are very intelligent.
Yeah, but that, there are levels to this shit, and he's not at the higher upper echelon of human, brain power. Like, let's just stop. He's a dumb jock, who's running around.
He's not a dumb. Why does he have to be a dumb jock?
He's not smart, man. He's not smart.
How do you know that?
I've heard him talk. I see his decisions. I see what he's doing. He's not really a smart guy. He's in the league and he's got these millions of dollars because he's athletic, because he plays basketball. He's not some fucking genius. Don't call him intelligence. You can say he's not dumb. Or, you know what?
I don't know him. I've never met him or spoken to him, but people who have.
But yet
he's
you're
very
calling him intelligent. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
So what is I guess that's very subjective. Like, is he intelligent in math? Because he's not intelligent in decision making.
Yes, exactly, Patricia. That's what I'm saying. You can't be doing stupid shit. It's just like when I hear Kanye West is a genius. I'm like, have you ever heard him talk?
But that doesn't listen. I'm a pretty smart person, and I've done
Donald
a lot
Trump
of
is
stupid
a genius.
fucking shit.
Donald Trump is a genius.
No, he's not.
Well, compare if you talk to his people.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
He's this fucking genius. He's so smart.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Damien.
Yes.
You said that you're a pretty smart person, but you've done a lot of dumb shit, right?
Yeah.
Have you done the same dumb shit repeatedly over and over? And a group of people have told you don't do this because, you're going to lose millions of dollars. And you're going to be like, okay, let me just hold that gun really quick. Have you? Okay, then keep going. You have to answer that question.
I'm just saying, if you think about it, we that's a very popular narrative, right? You take someone who's beloved but they're kind of dumb, and then they're doing stuff that shows their stupidity. And then you got a group of people say, well, they're really smart. They're just making mistakes. It's like, stop. Like Donald Trump, right? He's a fucking genius, right? He's this great.
Who the fuck has ever called Donald Trump a genius?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Well, all the debates
even
that we've had with these right wingers.
I've heard him referred to as a great business person. I've never heard him called a genius.
I've heard him been called a genius. Even news anchors have called him a genius.
Yeah, stop that, Daym. Stop. Ja Morant is dumb.
He's doing,
or at least he's acting dumb. But I wouldn't say he's
dumb shit.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm not condemning the man. I'm condemning the actions of a dumb man. But let's move on. We got another gun story, actually.
Another gun story. Yeah. The bus stop guy.
Bus stop guy.
Yeah,
in Maryland.
So in Maryland,
Yep.
this guy, in order to protest a bill that he doesn't agree with, a gun safety bill, where basically it stops people from open carry in certain areas, including schools.
Right. So in Maryland, you're allowed to carry concealed or open carry with a license. So this bill is restricting them from open carrying in certain areas, like schools.
Right. So to protest this guy decides to every day now, right? It's every day or whatever.
It's been every day for weeks.
He's strapping himself with an AR-15, and he's just standing at a bus stop.
A school bus
stop.
This
shit. A school bus
An
stop.
elementary school bus stop. And it's terrorizing the little kids.
Yeah. What a dick.
I know for a fact. If that was happening at my kid's bus stop, one, my kid wouldn't be riding on that bus. One,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be complaining to the school every day, and guaranteed I'd give that guy an earful. Guaranteed. I would call him a fucking coward. You're a fucking coward. Why don't you stand in the front of the Capitol and do that shit? You want to protest? Go stand in front of the governor's office, mansion or whatever. Go do that, but don't stand in front of a school. Don't be a fucking pussy. Don't be a prick.
I mean, I wouldn't say all that.
I would straight up. I wouldn't be scared.
Have a gun.
Nah. There's got to be, and the police will get an earful for me too. Like, why aren't you doing anything? If they just passed this bill, what's the point of passing a bill if they're not going to stop the guy who's actually breaking the law?
I wonder if I don't know if we looked enough into it. I wonder if that's a loophole that he's taking advantage of, because I know we saw that it's in school zones, but does that include bus stops?
Maybe not. Maybe they should include it in a bus stop and then arrest his ass.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this really pisses me off, because every day we hear about somebody dying from a gun or mass shootings or whatever, and there's someone that's just really going out there just to terrorize. It's literally what he's doing. He's terrorizing the kids. I don't even know why the parents are taking their kids. I would not take my child if I see that somebody is every day, and then I'll have like a crazy parent like Julian like confronting. I would not take my kid to the bus stop. I would just drive my kid. I mean, but then again,
gonna get all the kids shot.
No, I don't know. But you know what? What harm would it do to confront him and be like, "Yo,
I'm sure they've talked.
What are you doing?
Talked to the guy. I'm sure they've talked to the guy, but he's saying that he's protesting.
What are you doing? Like that's straight up. Like why don't you take this shit somewhere where they'll put your ass down? Don't do this here. This isn't the time or place for this.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's just so convenient what is peaceful protesting to some and what is not peaceful protesting to others. We talk about this almost every podcast. We talked about how kneeling during the anthem is like blasphemy, but holding a sign that says there's going to be blood dripping or shed or whatever because some drag queens are like doing a show, and you have the police escorting these Nazis. I mean, you can. The U.S. is fucked up.
As long as you're not protesting the police.
No, as long as you're white, you can. No,
it doesn't matter your color. It as long as you're not protesting police brutality or racial discrimination, then you're good.
So who does that? Who's the one that's protesting that?
There's been plenty of white people. That one woman who got ran over by the car, she wasn't a person of color. But anyway, I just want to make a point. JJ Redick, he's former basketball player. He's now pretty popular basketball commentator. He was defending Ja Morant to some degree, not his actions, but he was making a statement. He's like, "Hey, we got politicians that are sending out Christmas cards holding
Oh yeah.
AR-15s with their families, and there's no repercussions for them whatsoever, right? Meanwhile, we have this basketball player, and his whole career is, coming to an end if he continues to make these mistakes. But the warped thing in this country, to what you were saying, Patricia, is our true leaders, the people that we really should be holding to higher standards. They seem to get away with this shit all the time. Marjorie Taylor Greene with the ad blowing up a car with the gun, and and all of this stupid shit. Like,
but let me say right there about the congressman. That is the image that the Republicans like. I mean, how would it look if a basketball player is sending Christmas cards like that? They probably won't like that. So you can't really compare that to.
It would be a huge problem if a basketball player did that for that basketball player.
Right.
Probably just as bad as it is now for Ja Morant, if not worse.
Steven Jackson brought up a post. I didn't really agree with it, but there was
he's another basketball player, just for those who don't know, former. Go ahead.
Stack posted I can't remember the guy's name. Khan. Most people probably have no idea who he was, right? Played in the NBA. It was never anything great. End of story. Played on a few different teams. But he had some pictures on his social media of him holding guns at a gun range. And then there was another picture where it looked like it might have been his house where he was holding a gun. And they were comparing that to what Ja was doing. And I just don't see those as, he was making it a racial thing because it was a white guy doing it. It was okay. And Ja's black. But when you're driving, when you're in a club, you shouldn't be dangling a gun around. And when you're driving around, you shouldn't be dangling a gun around. Like, these are not the places to be playing with guns. Yeah. So I don't think it was a racial thing, personally.
I think race is a component to it, but I don't think it's the
main one. That's why they're also adding the hip hop to it.
Right, but there's a racial component to this, not necessarily against Ja Morant, but the fact that he is a black man.
So let me ask you this.
Hold on.
Let me finish
my point.
Yeah,
and the fact that he is a black man, and the fact that there has been a lot of gun violence against black people. Considering this is the NBA and some of the way the NBA stands, and looks at this, I think it is important for there to be repercussions. If there's some white guy in the NBA doing it on the NFL, there should be similar repercussions. But I do think that Ja Morant's race does play a role in this conversation. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
I don't see it. Like in you
don't see it.
No. In JJ's point, on a broader aspect, with him 100%. But the case is that he is employed by somebody. This somebody has rules about these type of actions.
And no, JJ Redick is on our side when it comes to this. He just made a broader point. That's all he was doing. He's talking about the gun culture in this country, and we all agree with that. There are different standards, but that's not what this is.
Okay.
But to his larger point, I would agree.
Right.
So yeah. Every time we have a gun conversation, it always ends with a sigh. Have you noticed that?
No, it's just, like, I don't know. Like, I don't like when they start blaming music. Like, of course, they're like, oh, rap music, whatever. But why are we acting like it's only gangbangers that have guns?
Well, it's not. I mean, what
would they have said? Oh, what is his name? Ja Morant?
Ja Morant.
Ja Morant. If he were to have been listening to country music, they would have blamed.
It would have been the
music?
Same. It would have been
or
the
jazz.
Same thing.
Oh, he's listening to jazz. He's becoming.
They wouldn't have blamed. They wouldn't have blamed country music.
So it is. Race plays a big part because
it does.
Yeah, I can see. I can see when you're looking at it from that point of view, but I don't agree that hip hop has anything to do with. Is the cause of what's going on?
No, not the cause.
Oh, I don't agree with that either.
But the reaction for him listening to hip hop music plays a role. The reaction to him being a black man plays a role. Not
I agree with
necessarily
that.
why he did it.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But the reactions are definitely race related and culture related.
No, I agree, but I'm just speaking towards there is a segment of the population who is saying that this is because of hip hop.
Oh, there's
This
always
behavior is
of
because
course.
of hip hop.
Just like when a mass shooter opens fire, the reason is, a lonely, mentally unstable person.
If you're a Floridian,
can I interrupt you real quick?
Damn, I said 2 words, 3. Go ahead.
I got a question for you too.
Oh,
I saw this on some news feed and just figured it'd be fun.
Okay.
Question: how many straws? How many holes does a straw have?
1.
2.
1.
2 holes.
No. It's definitely 1.
Wait, are we talking about a straw?
Yeah.
A straw. Yeah.
The top and the bottom?
No, it's 1 hole.
No, it's 1 tube, 2 holes.
Okay. If there were it's the answer's 1. What's the
I
answer,
hate you, Julian?
Oh no, it's people debated. I say it's 1. Some
it's
people
definitely
say it's 2.
1.
So.
It can't be 2. It's 1 hole.
What is a hole?
You know what a hole is.
So, how many holes do you have?
I wasn't expecting us to go there, but
let's approach this differently.
It's how many holes do you have between your mouth and your asshole?
No, we're not doing that.
Oh my god!
I know. I'm curious.
I think those are 2 separate holes. I don't think it's
it's 1 tube. It's all connected.
That's the point of the straw. It's 1 hole.
So how many holes do you have?
You tell me, doctor.
Well, I would say you have 2. Your mouth hole and your butthole. It's connected by 1 tube, right? 1 hole? 2nd hole?
No, this is 1 hole. It's 1 continuous hole.
No, it's 2 holes, as in HOLES, not WHOLES.
Now we're getting into grammar. This is 1 hole. It's 1 hole.
1 hole with 2 exits?
You can say it has an entrance and an exit, or an exit and an entrance, or 2 exits, whatever you want. It's 1 continuous hole. Like a black hole.
I'm not even going to say anything about that.
If you were to punch a hole in a piece of paper, would you say it has 1 hole or 2 holes?
It depends how thick the paper is.
It shouldn't. It's the same thing. Then that's you're changing your perspective because the tube is longer. However, the hole is still 1. But if you took a piece of paper and put a hole in it, you wouldn't say that's the top side of the hole and the bottom side of the hole is 2 holes.
How many holes do you have?
A straw has 1 hole. That's the conversation.
No, but I'm asking you because the top connects to the bottom.
That makes it 1.
So you have 2 holes instead of 3?
Instead of 3, I got
She's
holes
trying
in
to
my
say,
ears. I have holes in my nose. I don't know what you're talking about.
So you're saying, Patricia, that the asshole and the mouth are 2 separate holes?
They are 2 separate holes. I mean, to me, even though they're connected by 1.
It's a pretty good point.
So, Damien.
Julian. What the fuck?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So, Damien.
Anyway,
wait, Damien. So, do you consider your mouth and your turd clipper 2 holes or 1?
There are an entrance and an exit.
So you have only. Have you guys seen that movie? What is it called?
Human Centipede.
The Human Centipede. How did you know I was gonna say that?
Because
Julian and Damon, have you seen it?
No, of course not.
You should watch it. Because then we can revisit this conversation.
Anyway, I thought this would be fun.
This guy, anyway. He drops this bomb and ends like, anyway.
It's a bomb for sure. This is a serious debate right here. And I'm glad.
Is there an answer?
Yes, 2.
No, there's no.
There has to be an answer.
Daym, you gave yours and she gave hers.
And
That's
one of
it.
us has to be right. Likely it's me.
It's going to be always debatable.
No, I'm right. That's it. Undebatable.
So how many holes do you have?
I don't know. Now I got to start seeing if my nasal passage connects to my mouth, which connects to my ass. And I don't, does that all 5 holes or 1 now? I don't, what are we talking about? It was a straw.
So are we straws?
No.
Anyway. What you got, Daym?
Can we get back to business?
Yes, let's get back to business.
All right. So like I was saying before I was interrupted, if you are a Floridian, or if you are considering Florida's governor as your potential national leader, you need to hear this. Because Florida is being engulfed with fascist bills. And if you don't know what fascism is, it's a political system based on a very powerful leader, state control of social economic life, and extreme political disagreement allowed. Policies and laws are often anti-democratic. They are extreme nationalists. They stifle dissent and protest, create scapegoats like the LGBTQ plus community and the woke, stripping rights from citizens, rejecting modern views, banning books, education, and free speech, increased militarism of policing, contempt for free and fair elections, and creating social hierarchies. So
don't most Republicans check all those boxes? But Ron DeSantis in particular, he really checks them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of those boxes, yes. Yes, I would say that. Anyhow, if that is the type of environment you'd like to live in, then you probably
come on down to Florida.
Come on down to Florida. Yeah. So let's get started. We're gonna list the bills that have been presented and have passed or will pass this year.
Before you start, I want to say to the people that are listening, I want to say to the people that are listening to not skip this part, because even though it might sound tedious or boring or long or non-entertaining, is super, super, super important for us.
I would agree.
And this is why we are in this one hole.
I've done my best to compact it and minimalize it so it's not overwhelming and it's just straight to the fucking point.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Starting with HB 547. Sorry, HB 543 allows people to carry concealed loaded guns without permit, training, or background checks. SB 214 bans credit card companies from applying a code to purchases of guns and ammo. These codes are meant to help track suspicious weapon purchases, and companies will now be banned, or companies will now be fined $10,000 per infraction. SB 300 bans abortion after 6 weeks. which is before many people even know they're pregnant. It also creates barriers to access for those seeking exceptions to the ban. Currently, this is being reviewed by the state Supreme Court. SB 450 reduced the number of jurors needed to become to recommend the death sentence, going from a unanimous 12 out of 12 jurors down to 8 out of 12, which now makes Florida the lowest state with the lowest threshold for the death penalty in the entire United States. SB 450 reduced I'm sorry, I just did that one. SB 266 bans colleges and universities from spending state or federal funding to promote, support, or maintain programs or campus activities that advocate diversity, equality, and inclusion. Let that one sink in. SB 1580. This bill permits medical providers the right to refuse treatment to LGBTQ plus patients on ethical, religious, or moral grounds. Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, hospital admins, insurance companies, and whoever else has the right to deny you care, life-saving or otherwise, based on their conscious objection with this bill. SB 1718. This bill criminalizes Floridians who shelter, support, and provide transportation to undocumented immigrants. And just to put that a little simpler, by providing transportation is just could be giving a ride to a friend, someone you barely know. You can be found guilty of a felony.
I wonder how about if you're an Uber driver?
It's a great question. SB 256 puts an end to automatic union due payments, requiring government employees and teachers to now write monthly checks if they want to stay in the union. It also requires the unions to recertify if their membership drops below 60%. So basically, creating an opportunity for people to forget about making their payments, dropping the monthly participation, and then could cause the union to go away altogether because that Florida doesn't want unions. SB 1616 allows Governor DeSantis to hide his travel records, past and future. SB 252 prohibits businesses, educational institutions, and government agencies to require people take a COVID test, provide proof of vaccination, or require to wear a mask to enter the facilities. SB 254 allows state court systems to remove transgender minors from their families if they're receiving gender-affirming care.
Yeah, I think that's a newer one, right? Yeah.
HB 1521 bans individuals from using public restrooms that do not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. And SB 7050 imposes restrictions on voter registration organizations, which will obviously detrimentally impact registration numbers because lower registration, lower voter turnout tends to benefit Republicans. I don't like it here.
Yeah. Yep. And not to mention his stunt with the immigrants and just some of the statements that he's made and the influence that he has. God, he's awful. I don't understand how he won.
Well, he won because we didn't show up to vote.
Yeah. He won because we didn't show up to vote, and he also won because a lot of people don't know about these laws.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Republicans constantly talk about the same things. A lot of them don't take action on some of these things. It's just usually red meat for their base. But he's actually taken action on a lot of this stuff. Same thing Donald Trump did, and
this is all this year. So this is a clearly he's setting his presidential agenda, but imposing it in Floridians. But he's getting a lot of pushback. The mayor of Miami, who is a Republican, is up in arms about this going back and forth with Disney. There are sheriffs who are not happy about this the concealed carry bill. There are, Julian and I, we were talking about this yesterday, the day before. They're Hispanic truck drivers, which make up 20% of the truck drivers, are supposedly planning to ban Florida, not bring any truckloads into Florida. They're looking for basically to boycott Florida and products that are of Florida. But
Disney canceled a plan. They were building something that was going to be like $1 billion that was going to give like a bunch of people jobs, all averaging like 100,000 a year or whatever, and they've decided to pull away from that because of DeSantis and his policies.
Well, to be specific, the project was going to cost $1 billion, which obviously the taxes would have benefited the state. Disney was also planning to move 2,000 employees from California to Florida. So that's 2,000 homes that could have been sold. That's taxes off of the revenue, sales. Yeah, but they scrapped that whole project.
And then what was it? The Jacksonville, that mayoral race or whatever. DeSantis's
the person he supported
lost.
Right.
And
the person Trump supported won.
Yeah. So it just continues to show that his popularity is decreasing in the state.
Is dwindling. I mean, when you got the former Vice President Pence talking about you, and he doesn't say shit about anybody.
Yeah.
So
DeSantis,
I mean, for the country, it sounds like y'all are in good shape, but we still got to deal with this shit for another 3 years.
Well, if he runs,
didn't he announce he was running?
Not yet.
It's supposed to happen, I think, this week coming.
It's going to be in June.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe we can get someone else in there. Maybe the state will wake up a little bit, but I don't know.
Get somebody else in where?
During the next election?
In 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But
if he runs and he's a nominee, I think he has to give it up, right?
No, that's we didn't cover that in this list of bills, but they just passed a bill that used to be the law in Florida that you could not apply for 2 government jobs that overlapped. They just changed that law a week or 2 ago.
He changed it, right?
Right.
Or they changed it on his behalf. Yeah.
A week, like maybe 2 weeks ago, they changed that law that will allow him to apply for a job. So if he doesn't win the presidential,
I didn't think that was final or like totally
he can come back
yet.
It's state house. He just has to sign it. All of these, it's just waiting his signature. Fucking Floridians. I hope it's a wake-up call. I mean, seriously, like a lot of this shit is bad, but some of these are really bad. Like really bad. This thing, his attack on the immigrants, he's not a dumb guy. Like either his plan is to just blow Florida up, or maybe he just really is this dumb, because this does not seem like this was thought through. Like the amount of the prices we're about to pay for our vegetables, our roofs, our houses, like
maybe
Who's
Do
going
you
to be?
think this has anything to do with his intelligence? This is just sheer wickedness in my mind.
Or maybe,
Right,
that,
but
and
people have to vote for
maybe
him,
he
right?
thinks he's gonna get that catapult that Trump had when he was being hateful and racist and, calling, Mexicans rapists and Muslims terrorists, and people were like, yeah. Maybe he thinks that he can, get something like that.
The one thing that
He
Republicans have
has a lot of
always
support. He has a lot of support because there are a lot of people on the right who feel this way. The things that he's passing is shit that they run on. Like this isn't
a
a
lot
surprise.
a lot of it, but the one thing that Republicans always hang their hat on is being pro business, and he is on the path of destroying
Yeah, and
a lot of
consistently they
businesses.
shit all over our economy. They're pro business, ideas or whatever.
Well,
Look, they're pro paychecks, as long as it's lining their pockets. They don't care about business.
well, a lot of them are the business owners, and then they're the ones who give the kickbacks and shit like that. I'm not saying it's a beneficial thing. I'm just saying that's always their focus, is to support the businesses and this whole trickle down bullshit. But he is trying to torch one of the largest business in the state. And then when you make this attack on the immigrants, that's going to impact.
I mean, he's targeting the biggest two things: immigration and Disney. I mean, without either,
Tourism,
I don't know what kind of
immigration and tourism.
I don't know without either what the state will do.
I would say agriculture and tourism, which are our two biggest producers for revenue in the state. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think any of us are going to enjoy it, but it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's 3 more years.
2 or 3 years ago, like if you needed to get your roof done, if you needed to replace your roof, it was like $10,000, which is a lot, but it was 10. Like now it's like 18,000 today.
And we already have a housing crisis in the state.
Yeah.
So now imagine when now there's only 5 companies that do roofs because everyone else can't get employees. Now how much is it going to cost you to get your roof done?
Yeah, but how many people who are out there? I mean, look, I know what some of the polls say or whatever, but he must be getting some indication that he's becoming wildly popular among certain constituents because he's going to run for president. Maybe it's because he's, so much national news and maybe that's skewed or whatever. Maybe he lives in a bubble, right? But
maybe he lives in a bubble and he thinks that all Florida is like the rest of the country. And,
I think if
I've heard them.
I think if what you're saying was the case, and if he was that confident in it, he wouldn't have needed to make a bill to secure his job in Florida.
No, he wants a backup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's because of lack of confidence. I really do believe that he thinks he's going to beat Trump.
Bill then?
Just to ensure that he could continue to run the state while he runs for president. Like that, it's pretty obvious.
It's not while he runs for president, as if he doesn't get elected as president. And
it's also while he's supposed to he would supposed to run for president, he would also have to give up his current position. Like I think once you get to like a certain point, like he would have to, would he not?
Once he says I'm running for, you can't apply.
He's supposed to resign.
You can't apply for a job that's going to overlap with your current job. And
right. So he's doing this so he can continue to do what he's doing, regardless of what the outcome is. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean a lack of confidence in winning.
That's just guaranteeing that he's going to get to rule something, whether in the White House or in the state.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it the way you're looking at it. The way Patricia and I are looking at it, it's continue to have power. Like, that's all that is.
Not that I'm going to take my chance, but, most likely I won't get it, so I'm going to come back.
That's how I see it.
Huh. Regardless, the results are the same. He still gets to run Florida. Like,
well, he wouldn't if he ran for president. His term would be over, and then we would have to vote for a new president, for a new governor.
if that didn't pass. It's not how it is currently now.
That's how it's been in Florida, was what I'm saying.
But that's not how it is now.
As of the last 2 weeks, no.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You
What are we
guys lost me
disagreeing
there.
on?
That's what I'm saying.
You guys lost me. You guys lost me
What are we
there.
disagreeing
What
on?
you
Like,
talk about? I don't know.
Like,
he can. Yeah.
Julian, you're saying that. No, Damien, what you're saying is that if he becomes president, no, Julian, you're saying that if he becomes president, then he will not rule Florida because he's the president. Is that? I'm lost.
No, all I'm saying is that I do not believe that he passed this because he's not confident of winning.
No,
the
I agree.
presidency.
I agree
Right.
with you there.
That's where I disagree.
Yeah.
It's a weird way to look at it.
What? There's no other point. There's no other purpose of it.
Just guarantee that he's gonna get his job back.
Guarantee, right? What do you?
He's changing the law so he could get his job back if he doesn't win.
Right. That's like taking a 2-week vacation when you find another job, taking a 2-week vacation just to see if you like the job before you give your 2-week notice. Like it doesn't
That's
necessarily
grimy as fuck.
but it doesn't necessarily mean you're not confident. Like, like obviously it's
You're not putting
easy
all your eggs in one basket.
There you go. It's just a security measure. It's not a
confidence measure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if you have to go as far as changing a state law
because
that
he
has been in place for decades,
right? That's all it is. Look at all
because
this, all this bullshit that he keeps doing now, going after Disney and everything. Like, you think he's shy about any of this shit? No, he doesn't care, and neither do his followers.
They're gonna care when they want that tomato.
Yeah. I'm telling you, a lot of people are like, "Oh, let the economy, crash. Get these immigrants out of here." Like, that really is the attitude from a lot of these people. They don't give a shit about the economy. They don't give a shit about gay people. They don't give a fuck about Disney. Like, they will watch the whole shit blow up just so they can say they got the libs. That's what they are. That's what they do. It's what you call it? What's the expression? Cut off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he went a bit too far. I think he cut off more than his nose. Maybe he only intended to.
Maybe he has another set of holes that we just don't see. But
if you cut off your nose, how many holes do you have?
Well, you go from 2 to 1.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, we're getting into silly season, but yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Yes.
Indeed.
Piece of shit DeSantis.
That should be his slogan.
Anyways, Patricia.
So
got something.
Yes, I do. I have a bone to pick with United States citizens from the mainland, which are not Hispanic. So, a Puerto Rican named Humberto Marchant, and his name is not even Perez or something. I mean, his last name is Marchand. It's not even like a Spanish name, but whatever.
Merchant?
Marchand. Marchand. I don't know. Maybe that's Humberto Marchand traveled from Puerto Rico to New Orleans last week. And presented his Puerto Rican driver's license, valid Puerto Rican driver's license at the airport, at the Hertz stand, and he already prepaid his car. And actually, he is a gold member with Hertz,
which means he uses them frequently.
Right. He said maybe like over 20 years.
Wow.
And the girl at the counter was requiring a passport because she saw the Puerto Rican driver's license, and and he's also a retired federal employee and for the United States. I mean, I don't know if I have to clarify, but according to this, this story, it has to be clarified. So he's an ex-federal employee for the United States. And so she wanted the employee wanted a passport because she said, he's coming from Puerto Rico, and he's trying to explain to her that
Puerto Rico is
he's
part of the
Puerto
United
Rican, he's a US
States.
citizen, he didn't come from like international. And she's like, no. And he got out his phone and he was recording because he wanted to, I guess file a complaint or whatever. And he kept saying, listen, I paid for my car, I'm a gold member, blah blah blah. And she's like, no, I'm gonna call the police if you don't leave. And he's like, call the police, because he was confident that the police officer was going to know that a Puerto Rican driver's license is a valid US driver's license. You would think that at some point in police school, they would talk about states. I don't know. Maybe
We learned this way before police school.
I don't know. Maybe,
like
if
junior
this was
high
a
school.
state trooper, I don't know. So this police officer from Louisiana comes in, and they just released the body camera footage, and he's, the guy, the Humberto guy is very calm and talking very, because he doesn't want to be confrontational, or he doesn't want things to escalate. And right off the bat, the police officer is like, what's the problem? And he's trying to explain, and he's like, I don't care about that, because he was saying, I'm a ex-federal employee. He's like, I don't care about that. I don't care. What does that have to do with me? And he's like, I'm trying to, let you know. So anyways, at the end of the day, he's telling him that he has a valid Puerto Rican driver's license. He's a gold member, da 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 da. He's like, no, you need to leave. And he's like, their policy, because the police officer is like, the policy for international, whatever. And he's like, I am from Puerto Rico. I have a Puerto Rican driver's license. And he was requested to leave the Hertz, and he's like, well, I prepaid. He's like, you need to leave, and if you don't leave, I'm gonna call immigration.
I would have been like, call them, because somebody at immigration got to know better than this, right?
My thing to me is, because in the video you can see that it's not like a counter at the airport was just one person working. It was like an office with different employees there. So you mean to tell me that not one person in the Hertz counter in the New Orleans International Airport knows that if you have a Puerto Rican driver's license is like having a Floridian driver's license, California driver's license? Like, we don't know this information?
Apparently not, because even the police showed up and didn't know any fucking better.
I mean, I guess Louisiana, New Orleans is...
No, I don't think it just stops there. There are a lot of ignorant fucking people that don't think. I think a lot of it is racially motivated, because the fact that he speaks Spanish, why would you threaten him to call immigration just straight out of the gate like that? Like,
yeah,
it's only because
there have been Puerto Ricans detained for not having papers, during Trump's immigration thing or whatever. This isn't anything new, right? If you don't know, if you're from Puerto Rico, you don't need any of that stuff to move around the United States. It's pretty simple to understand. And even when someone tells you that at a counter, I think at the very least, why don't you pick up the phone, call your manager, look at some policy somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Even if the original, like the employee that he was dealing with, if she's like, no, I mean, there has to be someone. When it gets to the point that a police officer is called, I'm sure somebody else was involved from the Hertz before it gets to the police officer.
No, I wouldn't. Not necessarily. It would have been up to that desk agent to either reach out to another coworker for assistance or to just call the fucking police.
But in the video, you can tell that they're all behind the counter.
But they can hear.
Yeah. It's not like it's like an office, and there's other employees too. So nobody from in there thought of maybe Googling or even looking at your own manual or whatnot. But that did not stop there. In California, a family was traveling from California to Puerto Rico and this all happened last week, from California to Puerto Rico, through Spirit Airlines. And the kid did not have a passport, and they were telling her that they needed passports for international flight. And the family, they're explaining this is not an international flight. We're flying to Puerto Rico. And we are U.S. citizens. We're born U.S. citizens. And they're like, no, you need a passport. And they didn't let them get in the
Fucking
airplane.
crazy.
Puerto Rico is a commonwealth of the United States. If you're born over there, you are considered a citizen of this country. I mean, what is so fucking hard?
Furthermore, you can book a flight to Puerto Rico like you can book a flight to New York.
Right.
Don't book
And
a
it
flight to Puerto
requires
Rico.
the same document.
Don't book a
valid
flight to Puerto
picture
Rico.
ID.
For these people, don't book a flight to Puerto Rico. Just stay over there.
Unbelievable.
But, you know, like, as I
and
read
these
these
people,
stories,
these other motherfuckers that are voting too. Stupid
Yeah.
ass fucking ignorant people. Sorry.
what was I gonna say? Being Puerto Rican myself and living in the United States, I have been asked all kind of crazy questions about Puerto Rico, like, what kind of money do we use? And I'm like, oh, let me just, I have some in my pocket right now.
You should have said pesos.
No.
No, I'm like, I actually have some money in my pocket right now. And when I show them the, dollar bill, they're like, oh, yeah, we use the dollar. I have been asked if we only ride horses in Puerto Rico.
What?
I have been asked, I swear on my children, I'm not making this up. I have been asked if we only have horses in Puerto Rico. Like, we don't have cars, and granted, this was like when I was younger, but still, I have been asked.
That's unbelievable.
It just shows a lack of education when it comes to our schools, and the ignorance that continues to permeate, just everywhere. Like, they look at us as, okay, you're Hispanic, you're not part of the United States, you're not,
because they equate. You know how many times I've been asked, oh, are you Mexican? Mexican? Like,
there's no difference to them.
Like, American people really think that the only people that speak Spanish are Mexicans.
Yeah, I've heard people say stuff like that.
I mean, this ties right back into one of the bills, SB 266, banning colleges and universities from spending funds on activities that advocate for diversity and inclusion. And it's this, they just don't want to learn about anything other than themselves, and then they grow up and do ignorant shit like this.
And even the stuff they learn about themselves is inaccurate. It's some Candyland fantasy, of our forefathers and how this country was built. It isn't even accurate. This troubles me. Obviously, you and I were Puerto Rican, and I hate to hear this kind of shit, but it really doesn't surprise me. Hertz did issue an apology.
If I was,
they issued an apology, but this guy should be suing the shit.
They owe me.
He's going after the police officer.
And the police, for sure.
They're going because he's like, at least he should know the law.
I'm getting more than an apology from Hertz. Especially, I've been a customer for 20 years.
He's a gold member. He said when he was like, I'm constantly traveling, and to be a gold member for years, I have never had this problem. And she was so arrogant too. She was like, I need you to go out about your business. And if I were him, I would have been like, I need you to go back to school, elementary. But I was talking to some friends about this story that are American, like white Americans, and they're like, when I was growing up, we never learned anything about Puerto Rico.
That's bullshit.
That's what?
Bullshit.
That's what
bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
That's bullshit.
They don't really teach about Puerto Rico.
You don't learn the history of Puerto Rico, but you do learn that it's a commonwealth of the United States. You do learn that they have, they are part of our government.
You learn that, yeah, sure.
Okay, so that's all the fuck you need to know.
Just because they throw it in the textbook and mention it, one time when you're in 5th grade, doesn't mean right. It's in passing. It's not something drilled in your head.
Yeah.
it's not something, even when they talk about Puerto Rico in the news or anything, or Puerto Ricans, they do talk about us like we're some other entity.
Second
Like, you know
class
what?
You
citizen.
work for a
Yeah.
airline.
You should know this. If you work for a rental car business, it should be.
I
Yeah.
mean, I would even listen, because I'm a generous person and understanding and almost at the level of like holiness. If this was a situation, yeah, please make sure. If this was a situation that happened, I don't know, in South Dakota, I would kind of understand, like, how many Puerto Rican people do you see in South Dakota? This is in California, okay? This is in California. You're gonna tell me that no one in come on now. I don't know.
Well, they only probably used to interacting with Mexicans, honestly. I don't know.
Oh, true.
That's the whole point. They looked at this guy. Oh, your name is what? And you coming from where? Oh,
Yeah.
you need a passport.
Well, no, that
In
was
fact,
the family. That was
No,
the family leaving
the
California
family
trying
was
to
from
go to Puerto
California.
Rico.
No,
Go
yeah,
to Puerto
yeah,
Rico.
and that's even crazier if you think about it. So
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying. Like, so they're probably like, oh, another, Rosa Sanchez. Oh, she must be a Mexican.
yeah.
Was the
Oh,
family
well.
even Hispanic?
Yeah, they're Puerto Rican.
They were.
Mm.
Ain't that some shit?
And fucking same.
I don't know why this stuff never happens to me.
2023.
God protects me.
I wonder how you would react to like, if you were the person at the Hertz. Like, I wonder how that would fly.
Yo,
Well,
You would definitely film it, right? You would definitely have the understanding to record it, right?
So I had an incident traveling from the Miami airport, from the Turkish Airlines counter at Miami International Airport. We were coming to, obviously, Turkey. And even though the the Turkish Airlines, they're not Turkish people. So the manager, whatever, whoever, they were Cuban. But my husband was talking to, when we were registering, I wasn't talking or anything. I was with the kids in the back or whatever. And anyway, so make a long story short, there was an issue with something. What is the issue? It was Isma. Isma was the issue. And we almost could not fly because there was something. And Damien, there was something going there was something going on. And my kids, they have a Turkish citizenship, right? And they're like, oh no, she cannot fly. I don't remember what they were saying, that she couldn't fly. And we're like, no, she can fly, and she has a Turkish ID. She has a Turkish, yeah. She didn't have, I think, her passport, or it was something, but we were trying to use the Turkish side of it. And they were like, no, because the country's not gonna let them in. And my husband's like, trust me, they will get in. They will get in. They have the citizenship. And the guy was so rude. And he started talking in Spanish to, I guess, the manager or whatever. And he was like really talking shit about my husband, saying, oh, he thinks that. And I got in and I said to him, and I said, listen, I know what you're saying. Don't get it confused, because he's Turkish, but I'm not Turkish. And I know what you're saying. You cannot hold us here. I got so loud. I was so angry, but I never thought about recording. But I did. And I said, no one can tell us that we cannot go. She is a citizen of Turkey. You don't even know what the airport over there will say. You don't know anything about their immigration laws. And they ended up letting her go. But that's the only incident that I've had, and it was a Cuban guy. So, come mierda.
All right. What we got next?
That just fired me up. I was so angry.
Clearly.
I'm like, I am not gonna miss these trips, because you have it up your ass that you're saying you don't even know what Turkey is going to say. And my husband's like, if she is able to pass, because obviously we have to go through Turkish Airlines, like the actual the Turkish team that flies with us. And if they don't let us in, obviously the country probably won't let us in. But even then, they're like, no, you will go. Then if you cannot get into the country, that's your fault. And my husband's like, no, I'll take the chance because we're gonna go. They didn't even look at her ID. Yeah. And then he's like, I don't recognize this ID. Do you know all the IDs from all over the world? That's exactly what I told him. I said, do you know all of the IDs of all over the world?
200 plus countries.
Yeah, and I said, but you should know the Turkish ID because you do work for Turkish Airlines.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. But anyways.
You should have asked him if he could identify the different 50 state IDs. We don't even have one ID. We have 50 IDs for this one country.
51.
Oh, Puerto Rico. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Oh man. I did it.
Oh, did you used to work at Hertz?
No. Why you ask me that?
You just said 50 IDs instead of 51. You forgot the Puerto Rican ID.
Oh, you were making it funny.
Yes.
That was like a Julian joke. Yeah.
Daym, you got the worst sense of humor in this whole podcast. I want to have you know that.
Okay. All right. Well, noted.
Daym delivers jokes like notes and shit.
I don't tell jokes because I'm the worst joke teller. That's a fucking fact. But that doesn't speak to my sense of humor.
Well,
your jokes.
Whose jokes? Oh, Julian's?
Yeah.
My jokes are good. What are you talking about?
They're not even recognizable.
I had you balling with my
the chicken one.
feather. Yeah.
That was
oh my God.
It wasn't so much it wasn't so much the joke. It was the demonstration. It was
for me, it was me
performance.
Googling bestiality in Turkey. Like this guy is trying to get me killed, arrested, taking my children away.
That shit has been so ingrained into my head. I have a customer who has chickens, and he's telling us that his chickens are disappearing.
Oh no, it's Julian.
And I started laughing because I'm thinking about your story, and this guy's telling me his chickens are just vanishing.
Before we continue to the other topic, I want to bring awareness to something that's very serious and important. But I just checked my phone, and 47% of the people say there's 2 holes on a straw.
That means 53 say there's 1.
That means that 46 says 1 and 7% says I don't know.
Man.
So I was right.
You're not right. You're just wrong with the others.
No.
It's pretty sad that you had to look that up to validate your point, but
because he said that he was right, but he's not right.
I'm still right.
No.
You're gonna have to do better than that, kid.
That's not what Google said.
That's not what Google said. Google says a lot.
Daym, you're one of those guys that just can't admit when you're wrong.
No. But you have to prove me wrong.
Yes, he is.
No, if I'm wrong, you just have to prove me wrong.
So are you saying that you're smarter than the 40-something% of the people who...
Oh, most definitely.
Patricia, he said he's smarter than you.
No, because if that were to be the case, again, we're going to go in circles. If that were to be the case, that means that he only has 1 hole from here to there.
So be it.
Here's a question for you.
No.
So let's say I'm taking the straw and I want to do a spitball, right? You know what a spitball is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Straw you. Mm-hmm. So I do it and it gets stuck. Will that straw now have 2 holes or 1?
No, still 1 hole. It's just clogged.
Is it really 1 or 2 holes if it's just like a piece of paper shaped into a cylinder?
It's
Julian, what do you think? Julian, what do you think?
I don't know.
You're the tiebreaker. No, you do have an opinion.
I do.
You're the tiebreaker. Is
on the
Patricia,
I'm playing devil's advocate for this one.
You've even agreed with me.
No, there's
you
2 holes.
You just didn't realize it. If you take a piece of paper and you stick a pencil through it and you create a hole in that paper, Are you going to flip one side of the paper over and say that's a hole and then flip it over and say that that's another hole?
Look, this is...
Just answer my question.
Oh.
Yes or no?
If there were to be another hole here...
Answer my question. Yes or no?
Exactly.
This episode is going to have to be called like one hole or two. Right there. That's it.
I like it. Answer the question.
Anyway, we got to move on, guys.
No, she got to answer the question.
We spent way too much time on this.
Well, this is your fault.
It is my fault.
Yeah, it is your fault.
So you tell your wife why you took long recording.
Just answer the question. We can wrap
I'm
this
sorry,
up.
what was the question? Say.
If you stick a pencil through a piece of paper and you create a hole, are you going to flip the paper on one side and say that's one hole and then flip the paper over and say that's another hole?
No, if there's only one hole, then it's one hole.
Thank you.
There's not a piece of paper here.
Precisely.
But if it's a straw, it's two holes. The
It's
top
not.
hole and the bottom hole, just like what
But
you
you
have.
just said you wouldn't apply that. You wouldn't apply that to the paper. Why would you apply it to the straw?
Because there's a distance from here to here. There's a in when you're sucking it in.
Hey, yo.
It's coming from the bottom, going up. Right?
It's traveling through the
Two
hole.
holes. It's traveling.
It's traveling through the hole.
It's traveling through two holes.
That's not.
Just like food travels through two of your holes.
It
Amongst
travels
other
through
things.
two orifices. I'm right, kid.
No.
I got you on this one.
No, you didn't. But you stay saying that. Me and my 47%, we good. Come on, Damien. Come on, Julian.
All right, guys. NBA?
Sure.
Quickly.
Oh, let's talk about the holes. I'm just kidding.
So, yeah. NBA news. So, Denver and both Denver and Boston are leading the series 2-0. I'm sorry, I said Boston, Miami. Sorry. So it's Denver and Miami. That's let me start over. So Denver and Miami both are leading their series 2-0.
Yeah. And
Miami, they've actually beaten Boston both times in Boston.
Yeah.
I want to start with that series, Miami and Boston. I got some stats I'm just gonna kind of throw out here. So
let's hear them.
Jason Tatum, he had 11 fourth quarter points in games 1 and 2 combined. Game 1, he shot 53%. He scored 30 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Pretty awesome. Game 2, he shot 50% for 34 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. Another great game. Man. That fourth quarter, not so great.
Hellified 3 quarters, though.
Jaylen Brown scored 9 points in the fourth quarter combined. Games 1 and 2, just 9 points. So less than Tatum.
2 points.
The game,
2 points less.
2 points less, right. Game 1, he shot 47%, less than Tatum. Had 22 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Game 2, he shot 30%.
Now I'm seeing where you're going.
And he had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get Jason Tatum's going to get the bulk of the blame. He's, the bigger name or whatever. But this idea that Jaylen Brown is at that level with Tatum, it's a joke. He's not a better player than Tatum. But he should get more of the blame for these 2 fourth quarter performances. In fact, I think the Celtics team in general, Horford, Smart, all of them, Brogdon, anyone you want to name, Grant, Williams, anybody you want to name, they need to be held accountable for the meltdown that they're having in the fourth quarter.
Are you excluding Tatum?
No, I'm including Tatum in that. I said it in the beginning, the fourth quarter. No, Tatum gets the bulk of the blame here, obviously, because he's their top guy. But I'm saying he's not solely responsible for this fourth quarter, drought that we're seeing. As far as Miami is concerned, Jimmy Butler, he shot the last game, game 2, 48%. And he had a total of 27 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Great game. Now, there's a lot of controversy that Grant Williams provoked Jimmy Butler. I don't know if you saw the nose to nose or whatever. People are stating there's memes and everything. My friend sent me even a meme, trying to make fun of the fact that he poked the bear. Right? He poked Jimmy Butler or whatever, but Jimmy Butler had 9 points? He had 9 points in the fourth quarter. He didn't blow up. He did a Jimmy Butler typical game. But now the exaggeration is, Jimmy Butler is top 5 player in the league, and Jimmy Butler is
they were getting carried away.
Bear. It's just the hyperbole is what I'm saying on both ends of this thing is absurd. Because I would say that Adebayo's having one hell of a series. He had like 22 points or whatever. He had a really good game. Miami seems to have a much better game plan. I think Boston needs to trade Jaylen Brown because it's obvious that Tatum and him can't play together. They're taking turns. They can't play together.
Listen.
That's my thought on that.
In terms of talent and ability, Brown is, for me, a notch below Tatum. The reason why I would keep Brown over Tatum is 1, the ticket that comes with Tatum, and 2, the expectation that comes with Tatum that is rarely ever met. He's supposed to be the leader of that team. He's supposed to be the go-to guy, and he's never able to come through in that position. He did it. It's the only time I can recall in recent memory is just in the previous series against Philly.
And he did it last year in the playoffs. Remember, they got to the finals last year. He had 50-point or 40-something point game in elimination.
I'm not talking about his total points. I'm talking about in that fourth quarter when you need someone to show up and close the game out. He's nowhere to be fucking found most of the time.
I wouldn't say most of the time.
I
would say a lot of times in big situations, he doesn't always come through. But most of the time, they wouldn't be where they're at. You compared him to, let's say, Luka Doncic, 2 guys who Jason Tatum's had way more success. Way more success. He's been to the conference finals.
He's been on a better team.
Where was Boston before he came into the league?
That team has been put together since him. Brown was there 1 year before him. That's it.
It's Jason. Your arguments are so off.
How?
You don't get rid of Jason Tatum if over a Jaylen Brown. That's just wild, man.
The reason you're distorting my argument. When it comes to expectations, Brown meets what you expect of Brown. Tatum does not. And you're paying a hell of a lot more for a player who is marginally better than another player.
He makes the Boston Celtics way more money than what they're paying him. In fact, most of the superstars in this league make their franchises way more money than what they're even allowed to get paid. How much merchandise? How many?
I don't give a fuck about how much money he makes.
But you're talking about ticket prices, though.
I'm not talking about ticket prices. I'm not talking about
Tatum's ticket price.
Yes,
right.
Because for what you pay him, you could get someone more reliable, or probably 2.
He's in the. I would say he's in the top 10 in the league. Top 10 players in the league
in terms of his ability, but he is not a leader. And the team looks to him as a leader and depends on him as a leader. It is
hilarious how you make this argument against Tatum and you can't seem to do the same thing for Kevin Durant.
I said the same thing I said Kevin Durant has no interest in being a leader. He just wants to go play fucking ball. but the team depends on him as a fucking leader, and he don't want to be it.
But you never turn around and say they should trade KD because he's not meeting the expectations of a leader. But you're saying that against Tatum, which makes no sense to me.
You're comparing Tatum to KD?
Yes, why not?
That's a different conversation, I guess.
I've seen Tatum outplay KD when they've matched up.
Okay. If you're a GM and you're starting a team
today,
don't give me that today. We're talking about players.
I'm talking about 2023.
No.
Is that the question, or you're talking about overall career?
Overall career.
Well, KD got 2 chips. He's been in the league longer. Of course,
I'm not talking about the chips, the accolades, any of that. I'm talking about their ability, their talent as a player. You have to take one of them.
I'm not judging their legacy that way. But if I had to pick today, I pick Tatum.
Legacy.
If I had to pick last year, I pick Tatum. If I had to pick the year before that, I pick Tatum. If I'm talking about the totality of their career, I go with Kevin Durant, of course.
I'm talking about their ability as basketball players and their dependability and clutch time.
That's unfair. Jason Tatum never played with Steph Curry.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
You're judging Kevin Durant's ability based on what you perceive, what you saw when he was playing on the Warriors. But if I take,
I never even said anything about the Warriors.
No, but that's what you're doing. Let's do this.
That's not what I'm doing.
Let's do this.
If not even close. Hold on. I'm
gonna make this simple for you. I'm gonna make it simple for you. If you took KD in all his years in OKC, and you take Tatum all his years in Boston, I definitely fucking take Tatum over KD. Absolutely. KD didn't do shit in OKC.
So you want to take a portion of KD's career and compare it to this guy's entire career.
A comparable amount of time. No, I'm doing a comparable amount of time. How many years did KD spend in OKC? And how many years has Tatum been in Boston?
You're changing my statement and my argument because I'm not talking about who they played with and what they accomplished.
You can't have it both ways, Daym. You can't.
I only said it one way. You keep trying to make it something else.
You're okay. Say your point again, and I'm gonna break your shit down. Go ahead.
I'm talking about them individually, their specific basketball skill ability and their dependability when it needs to get done in clutch time.
And I'm telling you, their dependability in clutch time, you're judging KD on a longer career, a career with more success because he's had better teams. Of course, it's easy for KD
just a better basketball player. What the fuck are you talking about?
To hit a clutch shot if he's got Steph Curry on one side and Clay on the other, and the floor is spread.
He played with Curry, what, 2 years?
No, he played with Curry 3 years.
Oh, okay. But he was
hurt. He won 2 titles. He won 2 titles with Steph Curry.
He was on the team 3 years.
That's what everyone talks about. But nobody talks about how he choked and the Warriors went from 3-1 and won the series. Nobody talks about how clutch KD was back then. Was he clutch? What was he doing? He had Russell Westbrook.
When has anybody ever said how clutch Tatum was?
Tatum has had clutch moments in his career.
When has anyone referred to Tatum as clutch? Yes, he's had a clutch. I just told you about a clutch moment he had. That's one of very few. Hello?
You're again, that's why I said we compare the beginning of KD's career, the first 5-6 years, to Tatum's. If you compare that, I go with Tatum. Now, if you're comparing, the KD that we all perceive and think about, then it's not fair. You go with KD.
Anyway, a better player.
I don't know about that. Overall,
yes.
In career-wise, yes.
No, I'm just talking about his ability, their skill set, their talent, their ability. He is a better basketball player than Jason Tatum.
I think Tatum is overall a more complete player than Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Kevin Durant offensively is a better player, but Tatum isn't that far away. Defensively, I take Tatum over KD, and I definitely take him as far as like a rebounder, as far as a passer. So yeah, I would lean
defense.
towards Tatum.
That's Tatum's defense right there.
Bro, stop. Stop. Anyway, I don't know what's with you with some of these players. You just hate certain players. I don't get it.
No, I think he's good. I think he's a great player. I think he has a lot of talent. I just think he is not the leader of a fucking team, and he's costing his team a lot.
No, I think he's not. Let's put it to the Giannis argument, right? You're talking about a Celtic team that has been since Tatum has been on the team. They've been to the conference finals, what, 2 or 3 times now? They've been to the finals once. And how long has he been in the league? What, 5-6 years or something like that? So since Tatum has been in the league, he's had a really, really successful career, pretty close to getting all the way. Most players that young
in the East
are not able to do that.
In the East,
when LeBron James was
you only had to worry about 2 or 3 teams.
Oh, so you discredit that. That's why the 1 year Kevin Durant went to the East or whatever, he ran back, to the West because why? Because the East is so weak.
You're saying the East
weak now?
It's better. It's stronger. It's a lot better.
I would argue that it's stronger than the West right now.
I don't know if I'm maybe.
If not, it's close.
It's close. I'll say it's close today, but that's not been the case for the last 5-6 years.
I'd say it's been the case for the last 2 years, maybe 3. Definitely not 3. When KD and Kyrie were in the East Coast playing together with Harden, you can't argue that there were more superstars out of the East than there were in the West.
That doesn't mean shit with the teams. There was 3 superstars on one team. We're talking about the conference.
I'm not even getting into that argument, but I do think that the East for the last couple of years have been stronger and they've been formidable.
But for a long time, there's only been 2 or 3 teams that you had to worry about out of the East, and that's a fact.
Since when?
Music and movie recommendations.
Well, we still got the Nuggets and the Lakers.
Okay.
There's another thing I got to bring up here, and then we'll be done. Jokic. Normally, this would be a hot take, but this isn't a hot take. The best player in the league is Jokic. It's him, Steph, and Giannis. You can interchange the 3. Those are the top 3 players in the league. Jokic is by far the best big man in basketball. He's the best passing big man probably ever. He's unstoppable. Daym, I'm not the only one saying this, bro. And the numbers are backing what I'm saying.
I don't numbers. You can't compare numbers from this era to any other era.
My eye test. I've never seen a big man pass like him.
When's the last time you've had your vision checked?
Tell me who's a better passing big man than him. I can laugh in your face.
I have to think about it.
Give me one.
To say he was the best ever?
Give me one. I said he is in the conversation. He may be the best passing big man ever, and you're laughing. So give me one.
You said he was the best ever.
He likely is the best ever. Give me one who's better than him.
Are you backtracking now?
No, I'm not backtracking. But I'm asking you to give me one.
Likely the best ever, or is he the best ever? Because
you can't quantify a finished career with.
I'm going by what you said.
And what I said initially was he may be the best passing big man ever. So I'm not backtracking. That's been my stance. You give me one player better than him. One big man better than him. Say KD, I'll laugh at you.
What is the qualifications for a big man?
Power forward, center.
They play these positions
6'10" or up. Yeah.
6'10" or up, not 6'9".
6'9". I don't care. 6'9".
Well, then you're losing this conversation.
What, you're gonna say Magic? Because Magic isn't a big man. Magic is not considered a big man. He was a small forward. Actually, he was a point guard.
Magic has started in every position.
Yeah, don't bring up the 1 year he started at center. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a big man.
He's played forward regularly.
That doesn't mean that doesn't.
No.
I
asked you.
I said big man,
you.
and now you want to change the narrative. Now you want to change the narrative.
I
said no. Daym, stop, because you're being stupid right now. If you said no, you're being stupid, because the criteria initially was big man. So then within big man, not within just height. I didn't say he's the best 6'9" and above. I said he was the best big man. And then you wanted me to shrink the 6'10" to, whoa, what about 6'9"? I'm like, 6'9", it doesn't matter as long as it's a big man. And you know that's where I'm going with it. And you bringing up fucking Magic.
But then you continue to say who played forward or center.
Right, who played for consistently. Who is that position? That's not what Magic was. No one in their right mind will call Magic a big man, and you know that. So why are we having this? Because you can't stand Jokic, and that's what it is. Anyway, predictions. Does Boston have a shot in hell of beating Miami? And what about the Lakers? Do they have a shot in hell of beating the Nuggets in this series?
I think the Lakers have a better shot than Boston does, but slim.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Your arguments are fucking wild. You think you're slick. You think you're so fucking slick. I knew you were trying. As soon as I said 6'10", he's squeezing in Magic. I fucking see it. That is dumb fucking, like, you just got my blood boiling with that one.
You gave me the
because you know I consider Magic the greatest passer ever. It's not LeBron.
He is the greatest passer ever.
Right. So, it's him. But next to him, Jokic is one of those guys, man. He's one of those guys.
Okay. I'm not defeated.
Are you seeing this? Are you watching these games?
Yeah.
You're not really paying attention to them, are you?
I'm watching like half of them. I'm watching like the second half.
Are you not impressed with any of the stuff you're seeing?
I'm mixed. Because it doesn't look impressive. The end result is impressive, but it doesn't look impressive to me at all.
Did you not see that first half that he had?
I just told you I've been watching the second half. I didn't see the first half. Patricia's got a headache.
Patricia, you look totally miserable. Anyway, but we are going to move on because this is where we're at.
Music and movie recommendations. Light week this week. Got two for you though. R&B, we got Summer Walker. She dropped the EP and it's called Clear 2 Soft Life EP. And then we got the rapper, Smoke DZA. Familiar with Smoke DZA? Heard the name? Nothing. It's got bars, son. But he just likes to smoke a lot. And he raps about it. This one's called Worldwide Smoke Session, Volume 2. It's pretty good. He's got a few features on there, but he bars you down. It's bar heavy. I enjoy it.
Oh.
And then Wu-Tang, Song of the Week.
What you got this week? Are we still on the Cuban Link album?
Still on Cuban Link album.
All right. Too many gems to just skip over.
There's a lot. There's a lot on this one. This week, going with Ice Cream.
I figured that's where you were going, but yeah.
It had to get that one out.
Well, definitely a classic. Patricia, you're a Puerto Rican?
No, I'm just a Puerto Rican.
Look at that. Anyway.
Watch these rap get all up in your French vanilla butter, pecan, chocolate deluxe. Even caramel sundaes is getting touched. Scooped in your ice cream truck.
I don't even like butter pecan. What? How do you guys say pecan? Pecan? How did you say, Julian?
Pecan.
Yeah.
I say pecan. Yeah. Pecan sounds weird to me.
Pecan sounds weird.
The areas of the country where pecans come from, they say pecan.
Oh, okay. So I was saying it right.
Pecan sounds more elegant.
Pecan.
So I got two film recommendations. These are foreign films. So the first one is an Italian film called Life is Beautiful. And it's Academy Award winner. It's a Holocaust film, but it's not really. It is, but it's oddly it's a comedy.
What?
With a lot of drama. Yeah, it's
an Italian film about the Holocaust, but it's a comedy.
But it's not a comedy.
Comedy drama. Yeah, it's a drama.
What is it called again?
It's called Life is Beautiful.
And who streams it?
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but I'm sure you could find it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a beautiful film. Just really something. If you look it up or you look up the director and the main star, Roberto Benigni, he had some, you might have remembered him. He made a lot of news for his reaction to winning it. You know, he was getting up on the stage, telling everyone how much he loves them. And it was just crazy. But one of my favorite films, I cry, I laugh, I get outraged. It invokes a lot of emotions. It's a great film.
What's the name again? Sorry.
Life is Beautiful.
Life is Beautiful.
What's the name again?
You know, in my job, we just had one of those leadership conference meetings, and they talked about active listening. Maybe you guys should have attended.
Is it from 1998?
Yep,
it's
1998.
An older movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, Life is Beautiful. Fantastic film.
I'll watch it tonight.
I hope you do. I think
I will.
Like
I have it set up.
All right. And then the other movie is Amélie. It's a French film, and also a comedy, kind of quirky, very quirky. The character, at least, is. And I don't want to spoil it too much. It's a nice romantic, like little love story, and it's really got that like French heavy culture. You know, like the little cafes and just the way everything looks, even the color, the way it's saturated. It's just a really nice film if you just want to just kind of kick back like on a Sunday and just watch something like that. It's a good watch. So,
and it's called Amélie.
Amélie. It's spelled Amelie.
Oh, like the arena.
Yeah, Amélie. So, wonderful film. Also a pretty big award winner.
You were almost going to shock me to my core because I started watching Emily in Paris, which is a show about a girl that moves to Paris from Chicago. And
wait, is that the fashion designer?
She works for a marketing firm. They do fashion designs and stuff.
Yeah.
So my sister has been telling me, oh, you should watch Emily in Paris. And I'm like, no. She's like, it's kind of like Sex in the City, but younger, funner, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, no. So I decided to just put it in because I keep seeing the previews and I'm hooked. I love this stupid show. So when you said Emily from French, I was like, what? Is he watching Emily in Paris?
It sounds like that. It sounds like that show you're talking about. It's purposely named the main character that way because of this film. Yeah.
Damien.
Yeah.
You watched the show Emily in Paris?
Yeah.
You watched all the seasons?
I watched probably not. I watched a good portion of it. My wife and
my
daughter
broke up for me. I don't know if he broke up for you.
For me too, yeah.
I said probably not, but I watched a good portion of it. My wife and my daughter were watching it, and I started watching it with them at some point.
And you liked it?
It was cool.
That means yes.
It was. I mean, it's not something I would.
Why is your voice high pitched?
was okay. I liked it.
Okay. All right. Well, you're back in my good graces.
It was worthy enough of spending some family time with them. How about that?
It's such a cute show.
It's cool.
Well,
Not
back to the movie.
Sorry.
Emily, yeah, back to that recommendation. Check that one out. It's good. It's about, I don't want to give away too much, but this woman has the ability to kind of alter people's lives. She does things in a whimsical kind of way, and
women have a way of doing that.
Yeah, she has a really weird way about going about it, but it sets up these scenarios that are absolutely hilarious. And then in the process, it's also a nice love story. So Life is Beautiful, Emily, check them out. 2 foreign films, excellent movies.
I wonder if that movie was taken from, I'm sorry, if the show was taken from that movie, because you're kind of describing the show. So if whoever watches this movie and likes the movie, you might want to watch Emily in Paris. So it has a lot of cafes.
Emily in Paris or from Paris?
Emily in Paris, because she's from Chicago, and she, as an American, she transplants to Paris to work for a French marketing company, and she doesn't know French, she doesn't know anything, and she gets clients, and she's very, like you said, whimsical and very cute and quirky. It's a really cute show.
And then she falls in love.
Yeah. And a lot in the scenery is very like fashionable, like a lot of cafes and restaurants and Parisian nightlife. Makes me want to go to Paris.
Well,
I love that show. I actually was watching it while you guys were talking about basketball.
Oh my God.
I can't stop. Just kidding.
Anyway, that's all I got for the recommendations this week. I know we have one other item to go to, and Daym.
It's the part of the podcast that I hate to do, but we must say goodbye. Jim Brown, 87 years old. Yeah. Hall of Fame Hall of Fame football player. Some say the best to ever play the sport. He was a movie star. He used his notoriety to draw attention to his passion for social activism. And I know he did a lot, or paid a lot of attention, or gave a lot of his attention to the treatment of Black athletes. First thing comes to mind is the Muhammad Ali summit, when they stripped Muhammad Ali of his title because he refused to serve in the military. Going to the Vietnam War, and he brought a bunch of Black professional athletes together, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell and a bunch of others, and they had this, big public display of support for Muhammad Ali, and he did, so many things like that. But he was definitely a legend, highly respected in the community, and he'll be missed.
Yes, he will. 87. So 87. Had a long, incredible life.
Meaningful, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
On many fronts.
So that is it. We are just completing episode 31.
Yeah.
Episode 31. I almost can't believe we've done so many.
It's a little hard to believe.
Yeah. We've spent so many hours talking to each other and then putting it out there. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Patricia?
I think so.
Imagine all those years where we were just talking to each other on social media, on
I
Messenger.
know.
If we would have just put all those out, we'd be up to like episode 500.
5,000.
I was going to say, yeah, it'd be more than 500.
Especially during election time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of pros at this shit by now.
Yeah, there would be nights Joe would walk in the room and she would hear our conversation and just turn around and walk out.
Mitzine's like, who are these people? I'm like,
Well, that's
No.
the opposite because Tanisha, she feels like she knows you guys because
Yeah.
she always
Through
hears,
our overhearing our conversations.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be there 1 month, I would say. We really need to like all get together.
That's
Are you actually
in
gonna
person.
be here?
I will be in Florida July 26th.
That's after
Yeah.
after Puerto
That's
Rico.
after Puerto Rico.
Wait, oh shit, we're still
So
recording,
this is-
guys. We're still
Yeah,
recording.
well, no. So this is documenting that Trisha says that she will be here. So, but anyway, episode 31, guys.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we got one more thing before we go. This guy always does this shit.
You always do it.
No, I didn't forget, man.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounded
I forgot
like
this
it.
time. I forgot this time. But I don't
like
always
it.
forget. We got Quote of the Daym. What you got, Dame?
I don't know who needs to hear this, but trees don't always hang around with grass, even though they all started from the same place. Hope that doesn't go over your head.
Well, technically, trees do hang around with grass because where are the roots?
Trees are hanging around above the fray.
So the trees only start where the leaves are? Because that bark and those roots.
Thank you for coming out. Good night. God bless. Episode
forget to
31.
share, comment, subscribe.
I mean, wait a minute. If it's from the bottom and it goes all the way to the top, it's all one, right, Damien?
Yes.
Or is it two separate things?
You understand the point. Do you
or
not?
Is it two separate things?
So if the tree was a straw. Anyway, peace, y'all.
Too much.
Tanisha's probably like, get the fuck off. You're an hour late.
You're an hour late.
Peace.
Bye. Bye, Tanisha.